Yo, happy Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to the SBP. I'm your boy Prime Source. What's good?
What up, Prime, man? This weather, man, it's all over the place, man. It's hot and it's cold. Yes, and it's snow. It's rain and it's not snow, but it's crazy. We all over the place. We all over the place. But I'm all right, man. Can't complain. The birds are chirping. I'm awake. I'm alive, breathing, and that's all we can ask for.
Indeed, man. Glad you're doing well. That's why I asked you this morning how the weather was out there, because I couldn't tell. Like through my window, it looks like the sun is out. We got the window cracked over here, and I don't really feel any breeze coming through, so it's just kind of hard for me to gauge what it feel like out there.
Zero breeze. There's not a nick of breeze out this joint. It's just what it is. I thought I saw like 62. Just feel closer to like 67, maybe close to 70 for real.
I don't think they calling for no rain today. I don't believe.
Nah, I don't think today. Later in the week. Oh, by the way,
go ahead.
Just crossed my mind, but I'm sure I'll post about it later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying something on Friday from 6 p.m. to whenever it gets dark. I'm calling it the Source Summer Series. Well, I said Social Course Summer Series. I think Source Summer Series might sound better. Anyway, Source Summer Series. I'll be outside at Laurel Barbershop Friday.
Nice.
Doing Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. So it's gonna be all big. Us. My man Reg, who owns the barbershop, they have a food truck. His wife has a food truck. I don't know if she's breaking out the food truck or if she's just gonna cook up some stuff, but either way, it's gonna be like either fried fish and fries or burgers and fries, whatever the case may be. So it'll be the vibes and the food, and I'll try to make it interactive. So hopefully it'll be a couple people. I don't expect it to be a big crowd or nothing, but maybe a couple people trickle by and chill out for a few.
You said when is it again?
Friday.
Nice.
6 p.m. until dark.
Nice, man. That's gonna be dope. And y'all make sure y'all got there. And if you're in 804, come through. Check my man out.
Come through.
That is nice right there. You know what type of food she got in the food truck, there?
The food truck is all kinds of stuff normally.
Right.
She does like breakfast stuff, omelets, shrimp and grits. She does all kinds of stuff. When she does the breakfast, in the evening, it's a mixture. Like I said, fried fish and fries. Because it's the first time, and we don't know if it's going to be 4 people or 40 people.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to gauge. So I don't want them wasting a whole lot of money on trying to do something too fancy. So I think they're going to keep it as simple as possible, and we'll just see what turns out. And we're going to continue to do it throughout the summer. In my mind, I'm thinking it'll be 3 to 5 different joints between now and the end of the summer. So if it turned out to be something, it can be more. But if it turned out to be nothing, then we're still going to do that at least, once a month at the least. So
don't stop, kidding. I was Sunday cold that man. I had a good shrimp and grits in a minute.
Yeah.
Shot. Love me some shrimp and grits. Everybody makes them different too. Like, are you big into shrimp and grits?
Not at all.
That's right. You don't really mess with the grits, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's right. You don't mess with the grits. You don't mess with the grits, man. I'll tell you, like, if you want to see one of the most distinctive recipes, check out the way people make shrimp and grits, because everybody's is different. If you got somebody that personally that cooks them, theirs are probably gonna taste different from the other person, right. What they put in or what they do to it, how they serve it. Like it's crazy. You go to restaurants. I might go to a restaurant over here, soul food restaurant, and it's this way. I might come to another spot and it's totally different. The size of the shrimp, how creamy are the grits? Is it they kind of almost a dry grit? Is it, what do you put in it? It's the craziest thing. You know, it's not like going somewhere and you be like, well, yeah, man, I'm gonna try the fried chicken.
Right.
But you know, there's good fried chicken and not so good fried chicken, but it's chicken. Like, you know,
Right.
that somebody might have put something different in their but the shrimp and grits is totally different, bro.
Word.
Totally different, man. So
I don't know if I'll ever try it, but I've seen it before. It looked good, but
yeah,
you know,
I think the last time I remember I had. Now I've had it since then, but some good shrimp and grits, man. I used to be. I don't know if you ever got a chance to visit Hattie Mae's restaurant that was in Woolalawn.
Nope.
Man, they started a little summer series. It's funny you said something about the summer. It might have been the spring. I don't know what it was. And I love them because, of course, it had food and, of course, it had beer. And it had one of the situations where they had it's an inside-outside type deal. So they could roll up the roll-up doors and you had your, you know, so you could be sitting inside and out while you're at the bar.
Wait, is this the joint that replaced the other joint on the corner?
It was the joint that replaced the other joint that replaced the other joint. They can't keep anything in that building.
on the corner though.
So it's right when it's not at the top of the street. It's in the middle.
Yeah. It's like
because there's a restaurant
if you walk out the door and turn to the right, you see like Tropical Smoothie. Yep.
Gotcha. Right down the corner. Yeah. Right down the corner. So they just opened up a dumpling spot now, like it's Ugly Dumpling or something.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the fourth, maybe fifth spot, at least the fourth spot that has been in that joint probably in the last 7 years. So
yeah. The first joint had the bum crab cakes. I can't remember the name of it, but
it was Legends.
It was
Legends. I think it was Legends.
Then it was the second joint.
It was Legends. Then it was something else for a short term, and then it turned into Hattie Mae's or vice versa. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah. Now with that one night, they had some bomb sweet potato mash one time too, like sweet potato mash. Man, it was crazy.
Last time we went, when it was named whatever it was named at the time we used to go there. It was for my birthday. Everybody, it was a surprise, you know. Mm-hmm. I pulled up and everybody's outside. We tried to go in. I don't think they could seat us. I don't know. Something happened and they couldn't seat us, and we had to regroup. We was like, what can we do right now?
Well, what's crazy about that spot, well, at least I think it was Legends. Anyway, what's crazy about that spot, a lot of people didn't realize there's two sides to it. Mm-hmm. So you had the one side where you walk in the bar, which is where I always sat, the bar side. It also had some chairs when they roll up that you could actually kind of sit outside too, but they had the bar side and some tables. But then if you kept on the other side of that wall, and you couldn't see clear unless you went to the door, there was another side that just had tables in it, tables and seats. You know, I always sat on the side where I could watch the TV and sit at the bar. But man, they had this bomb shrimp and grits one time, and they started the day. I had made my day. You know, it's for me. It's just me. Everybody had their own thing to do.
Right.
Everybody want to go nowhere. It's Prime Day. So I'm thinking I'm going to have a full day out this bad boy. I'm going to go there. I'm going to eat. I'm going to hit the mall. I'm going to go over here, maybe find some new sneakers. I had the day planned out just for me. Nobody else. I was rolling solo. Man, I went in that bad boy to have brunch. Got the bomb shrimp and grits. But there was one problem. It really wasn't a problem, but it turned into a problem. They decided they were offering bottomless mimosas.
Oh no.
You know me, I'm a responsible drinker.
No.
But that day, I don't know if they put a little something extra in the mimosas, bruh. But after about that third, going to that fourth glass, I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it out here. And at this day, I said I was going to have. So fortunately, we live close enough to the spot that I could be home within 10 minutes. So I was like, she wouldn't go pour it out. I said, no, I'm good. I finished up the glass. I came back home. So on one of those days, bro, where I figured that I was going to be out till about, at least 5 o'clock in the evening, I think I was back in the crib by about 1:30.
Yeah, it took you out.
Shrimp and grits was bomb, though. Shrimp and grits was bomb. And apparently so was the mimosas.
Clearly, yes. Clearly.
Who came up with the idea of having mimosas for breakfast? Like, I love it, but it's like you messing. In some cases, if you really like to drink, you just messing up your whole day. Are you planning on just drinking and getting back into bed? Like, what are we doing?
Day shot. I think women did. I think women did with the whole the brunch, and drinking something light early. Yeah, wow. Because what you gonna do? Act of food. That's
I call it crazy, but if I go to your brunch, I'm gonna do it. I'm just telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're gonna do it, but we know going in. This ain't right. This ain't normal.
It ain't going down. So look, man, I know you had a whole lot been going on with you. You know, you had graduations and a bunch of other things. Congratulations again, by the way.
Thank you.
I no doubt. And I don't know how much sports or TV you've watched over the past week or two, but it's been crazy for me. From our last show we did together to now, we're getting down to that time. Like it's like we still got probably 90 days or so till football season. Football season starts. It's basketball, which we're gonna talk a lot of today, is dwindling down. Mm-hmm. And we're looking for stuff to watch on TV. Now, we have the WNBA, of course. But that's, to me, I'm just starting to realize again just how crazy. I think I asked you this last year. So when we get to this time of the year, do you watch anything different other than what we normally watch? Like, do you watch anything other than basketball or, there's the football? Like, is anything else sports-wise that you get into?
You mean like the USFL or XFL?
Just whatever. Like,
to be honest, no. The answer is no. It's no. I mean, in Olympic years, of course, we watch whatever. And I catch some track, obviously. Even if I didn't want to catch track, I got to catch track. Even going forward, I'm pretty sure track will be a regular staple. Mm-hmm. But I ain't like watching the equestrian events, watching no sand, no outdoor volleyball, beach volleyball. But I'm not. No, I don't think so. Maybe you'll name something and it'll click in my brain, but.
So it's the craziest thing to me. But like, so turn on the television and like planning my days, and I'm like, what I'm gonna do today? All right, we got a show today. We don't have a show, whatever. Are we gonna watch movies today? Are we gonna find something? Because I think I told you, and I know I told a couple people, they tell me I'm weird. Something about Sundays, and if I'm like absolutely bored, and it's different levels of being bored. There's bored where I'm gonna sit up and watch something.
Right.
There's bored where I just want to lay in the bed and stare at something. Like it's crazy. So when I get in that mood, like I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm lazy. I can't think of the movie I want to watch and whatever. I will legitly. And I know it sounds crazy. I will legitimately stare at the TV if maybe bowling is on or something. I know it's ain't the most exciting thing in the world.
No.
But I'll look at bowling maybe. I won't break my neck to watch bowling, but if my man P. Weber, he didn't retire, but I don't know. Was college bowling, professional bowling, like, if I decide to go to the bar and sit up at like I don't know, Hooters on Midlothian and it's just me or whatever, or Nicole.
You been to Hooters watching bowling?
I know, man. I live an exciting life, man.
That's wild.
What I'm saying is, how we talk about it all the time. Sometimes certain places have a little niche. Like, you don't know what it is about the place. You just feel comfortable. Now, we're not talking every Hooters. Like, there's something like the Hooters on Midlothian Turnpike. Like, I like the Hooters on Broad. But the Hooters on Midlothian Turnpike, the way it's set up, I don't know if last time you've been in or if you've been in there.
I ain't been in a minute.
But when you go in, on the far side, they've got the main restaurant, but then there's the bar. Then there's another little walk in and step down behind the bar where there's another bar, almost like a separate room. Mm-hmm. It's not well lit. It's nothing. It's just if I'm just bored, I can just sit there and be in peace. That's what I mean. I don't mean just going to any. I'm gonna go find me a Hooters and go. It's just certain places. But anyway, but I bring all this up because I've done this a couple of times in the past 2 or 3 weeks where I've scanned the channels to see what ESPN is showing. And it's wild, bro. It's wild. not necessarily looking for bowling. I'm just trying to see what they got going on. Like now I'm okay because not only we got WNBA, but I do watch, I pay attention to college baseball a bit and softball a bit, which is shout out to Joel who sent me something the other day. I don't know if you saw it too, is there's talk of them starting an actual professional league and it's getting some traction from Major League Baseball. So professional women's league, I'm talking like, we're talking about the WNBA women. They're right. Talking, the MLB is getting evidently very interested in possibly aiding in starting a professional women's league of some sort.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Shout out to the ladies, man. But anyway, we're in the middle of college baseball season now, so we got the NCAA tournaments and all that going on now, which I keep an eye on. Go FSU and a couple of other places, other schools that I like to watch, the women as well. But this is what I came up with. I'm scanning the channels, bro, and I'm going through. Now, listen to the names of the things that ESPN has been showing. And when I tell you they've been showing these things, they've been showing them. There's been days that they show back to back to back to back to back. I'm talking stuff to start like 10, 11 in the morning, maybe even 9 a.m. on ESPN2 or whatever. And you'll scan the channel guide, and 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they're still showing things. So these events are happening back to back. So you ever heard of spike ball?
Yes. Yeah. They show that on TV?
Yes. ESPN go hard.
What?
Go hard. And keep in mind, if the spike ball goes off, they might come back with wiffle ball. Right behind it. Okay.
I can see wiffle ball. I can see it. Maybe I have seen it.
Some of these things I don't know, so I have to Google. You ever heard of quad ball?
No.
I have no idea what quad ball is. So I'm just letting you know. I'm just telling you. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. One goes off, the next sport comes up. That sport goes off, the next sport comes up. We're talking 7 or 8 hours a day on some Sundays. Maybe another day too, like I said, I don't know, but on some Sundays. This is the stuff you're getting when there's some things that tone it down. Okay. The World Breaking Championship. So they break dance. They got championships. They got championships for that joint. Yes. When they say breaking, I'm like, what is breaking any time? I ain't really talking about break dancing. Has to do with pool? Like what? No, it's legitly.
Oh, ESPN.
Yeah, this is ESPN. I found all of these on between ESPN, one of their network, ESPN2, all day long, bro. All day long.
That must be because of the Olympics and all that last year.
It's gonna be interesting when you hear some of these names. Then some of these other sports.
Okay.
Air hockey. You know what air hockey is.
Mm-hmm.
They also they go hard with table hockey, bro. Hard. I'm talking to. They got tournaments in the whole nine. Yeah. On ESPN. Fling hockey. That's some type of tabletop hockey too. It's different from table hockey, evidently, but it's fling hockey. All right. Now I love this one, but I never thought I would see this on ESPN. I'm sure you would love it too because you love playing it. They have Papa Shot National Championships. Yeah, bro. I'm talking. You going to Chuck E. Cheese or Dave and Buster's and getting it in. They got Papa Shot National Championships, bro. The National Championships on ESPN.
That's out of control. That's out of control.
Let me see. So there's a World Breaking Championship, as I mentioned, and then there's a Pro Breaking Tour. So it's time to break dancing. So I got to mention that earlier. Turf Wars Kickball, bro.
Wait, what was that?
Turf Wars Kickball.
Is it physical?
I guess. I don't know. I saw the name. I didn't catch this one in action. I just was scanning. That's what came up. So keep in mind, some of this stuff is coming on right after the other.
Right.
You spend your whole day watching this stuff. Turf Wars Kickball. Then there's the other popular cornhole. I've seen cornhole on that plenty of times. So I'm not tripping. I ain't tripping off that.
Right? Yeah. Cornhole. That's normal.
This one that I'm sure a lot of gamers definitely respect. Now I didn't look it up to see if it's definitely they play it game style or is it something like a video game style? Or is it something that they do with some actual physical shapes and parts? I don't know. But they showed the Tetris World Championships on ESPN. Tetris, bro.
I'm not mad at that one. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at Tetris.
Something I witnessed. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Something I witnessed the other day, which I've seen this before, but I didn't realize they were at least two different types. They have the hatchet throwing competition.
I feel like I've seen axe throwing.
Well, they have a hatchet throwing, and then they have an axe throwing. So the difference between a hatchet and axe. All right. These are these joints. So they're showing these on ESPN. I was watching, not sitting down to watch. We were preparing to leave the house, either to go to the movies or go to the mall within the past couple of weeks, and it was on. And I was watching these two ladies in a heated competition, just going, and they were nice with it too, bro. They were nice. And it seems something that's simple, just hit the bullseye. But evidently, it's not just hit the bullseye. There's certain point structures, and then if somebody hits a 3 or something, then instead of going for the bullseye, you need to try to hit what they hit. It's crazy. I'm not like I understand, but it was interesting.
Well, I could see the axe throwing. At least that makes sense because of the lumberjack stuff that they've done for years.
Mm-hmm.
So at least there was that in the past, the lumberjacks, and at least that kind of connection. I guess it connects to axe throwing. So
they got the men doing it, women doing it, everybody.
They said whatever will cover this spot and pay a couple bills.
That's what we're gonna do.
Bring it on.
And of course, you become familiar. It's like most of the world probably over the last couple of years maybe. Pickleball.
Yeah.
Pickleball is hot, bro. Like
is there a professional pickleball?
I guess. Because I'm gonna tell you this. The reason I say, unless it's just people rooting for their people, I was watching the joint one day and I was peeping at it, and this is a joint that started now 9 a.m. our time. So I guess I don't know, like 9, 10 a.m. and I'm watching these people. Legitly, there was like a ton of fans in attendance. And there were people, they were like little kids out there holding the sign, like,
you know what?
Cassie, the Terminator, somebody to destroy your sign over here. Little kid couldn't have been no more, little cute face, little girl, like can't be no more than 8 or 9 years old. And I'm like, she got a little sun visor on, and I'm like, they go hard.
You know, that was the return of that wasp. See,
he was looking for the crib.
He smacked me in the face just now. He said, "Oh, you knocked down my house. You knocked down my house. All right, mess up your show."
Yeah.
You know what it is, though, Prime? It's the way of the world. It's the way of the world because there's a lane for everything. Everybody has a lane. Everybody can be famous in some sort of way or to some group of people.
Yeah.
And it's like they're taking all these different ways of people having fan bases or followings and throwing them out there.
And I like it, man. I like it. Whatever. That's what we need. I like that stuff. Even if it's something I'm not particularly interested in, when I see the fan support behind a lot of this stuff, like you can turn on ESPN or sometimes Fox, you turn on ESPN and you'll watch it. I never think to watch that. But then you see it has a crazy, decent following.
Mm-hmm.
People know who it is. They got the T-shirts printed up, and I'm like, oh. And I will add though on not only just on the pickleball, which but it was it not spike ball? It's one of them. But I mean, you see legit sponsors behind these people too.
That's it. As long as there's money.
And I'm not talking about Don's Pro Shop. I'm talking about some people gonna be out there with Under Armour. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be somebody out there and you got some backing from Nike. And these are like the smaller, little known sports things that most people, average fans, don't think of. And these people are getting backing Adidas from these major companies, man.
That's it. It's the way of the
Like,
world.
how in the world somebody doing air hockey get a sponsorship from Adidas? Because they did. Because they did. You know, these big companies recognize that there is interest in these things.
Yep. There's an interest. Somebody's following it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's backing it, and we might as well get ours in too.
Yeah, I don't know if any of these people like. Have you ever been like in like a certain like a Nike shop? Let me think about. We went to a few years ago. Our company sent us to Atlantic City for a couple of days, and there was a Nike store down there. So in your mind, you're thinking, "I'm gonna go in there and find these J's. I'm gonna find these like couple of T-shirts or whatever," which they have all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you go back in the back part of the store, a certain part of the store, they got sections over there. They got bowling stuff in there. You know, they got you know, they might have a few fishing rods. I mean,
definitely fishing rods.
Yeah, they gonna have that stuff in there. It ain't like you ain't got to go to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, true.
You can get your fishing rod with a Nike emblem on the handle.
They say, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
A
couple more.
We will buy.
The last couple I got, and there's way more than this, but this is what I was able to catch. They got the slippery stairs competition. What? Yeah, it's called slippery stairs. In my mind, I think it's something like when you see something similar to what the people go through where they got to cross. You see some of these the
floor is lava.
Ninja Warrior competition, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, and you gotta something like that. But they have, but yeah, these are taking up hour, sometimes 2 hour slots on ESPN, bro.
I guess Sports Center couldn't hold it down much longer, so they had to move on to something else.
It might be. We mentioned cornhole. There's something called the Bull Shooter Championship. I checked it out. They ain't actually shooting bulls out here, y'all.
Okay.
So I don't.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's actually has something to do with like a board and some little pieces that have to be moved. I don't know, but they ain't shooting no animals. And then the last one, of course, is the fan favorite. We all played it as kids. And then I guess they still playing it in the school. The dodgeball.
Yeah.
They got dodgeball. They out here getting busy at dodgeball on ESPN, bro.
Yeah, if you can dodge a wrench.
Yeah. So I didn't know if anyone even cared, but it just amazed me. And I'm sitting here looking like, okay, if you're going to throw it's crazy. I just said that I'm looking at this joint now. There's a Major League Table Tennis showcase on right now.
Yeah, no surprise there. Table tennis for real.
Arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Comes on after that. The corgi races at Emerald Downs, and then cornhole will be on for a strong couple of hours. Then it comes on again later. So yeah, it's going down.
Man, that's the way of the world, man. If you
shout out to everybody that's in it doing what you do.
If there's $1 to make, we going in.
All right, boys. Let's get to the big stuff. Let's make the big stuff. So we got to go on and let's get to the NBA. Let's get to the NBA this morning. And let's just dive right into it. Of course, what everybody's talking about from last night, of course, again this morning, was the Indiana Pacers taking out the New York Knicks in 6 games. That went down. Had a very entertaining series, to say the least, for a lot of reasons. And of course, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, but I had feelings about this particular series, especially after game 1, because the way New York lost game 1, to me, just kind of felt like when you losing game 1 and the way you lost this is probably at some point it's going to come back to bite you, because these people are going to play you. I'm going to tell you what it is. If you've been paying attention to Indiana at all during the season, especially probably the final 20, 25 games, like right after, you know what they was about. They the type, they're built, they're well coached. They have the team is made up, to me, the way that a lot of teams would love their team to be made up. This from the starting 5 to the bench. They'll give a lot of people problems. I know they would give us problems because, as I stated, I think earlier in the year, if you look at New York, the last 3 years in their exit, last year was kind of crazy because of the injuries, everything that happened leading into that. I mean, they basically went in there crazy by the time we got middle to the season, they were crazy on demand. But That was last year. But anyway, they have problems with teams. They have that pass the ball well to get an open shot from deep. That's just what it is. We can go back to years ago Atlanta, when Trae Young and them did them in about 3 years ago or so. Whatever. This is no matter the way Tibbs constructs his teams, that part is always going to be a struggle, right? No matter who's on that roster, it just always is. So I wasn't surprised, but I knew that when they lost game one, I said, this is going to be one that's going to come back to haunt them. Probably. This game. I don't care what happens in the rest of them. And it did, because with them coming back to steal that game, it put New York, of course, last night, they had to, they needed to win. You know what I'm saying? They needed to win. It was a win or go home. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of hurt you instead of being in a position where you could have possibly been in a position to actually end it yourself. So, this is what it was. But Indiana, man, came out there and did what they do, what they've been doing. And, and you saw throughout this series, really you saw last series too, but this series of why they such a scary team.
Yeah, Indiana's tough, man. Too many people that can get you a bucket at any time. But it's an unselfish, look. They look very unselfish. Like, I don't think anybody cares whose night it is.
Yeah.
Whoever night it is, cool. Like, we just gonna roll with that. Whatever gets us to the finish line, because we've seen Halliburton go crazy, 32, 15, and 12, whatever he had that night. He's had multiple games in a similar vein, not to that extent. But Siakam with 38 or 30, whatever, in multiple games. You get big buckets from top end. Miles Turner been holding on, boy. He's been in Indiana for a minute.
Yeah.
They were
talking, and do you remember each of the last two seasons, there was talk of him not being in Indiana.
Yeah, I thought he was coming to LA before the trade. Actually,
this year and last year, there were several conversations floating around in the NBA circles about him in trade packages, all types of stuff, and teams wanted him.
Right.
Believe it or not, there was a talk last year about him. Of course, this is before the trade deadline, with him and New York. There were some talks centered around him in New York.
Yeah. But regardless, needless to say, Indiana's bench played well. Timely buckets from multiple people. One thing I found interesting, which I hate when people change narratives night to night.
That's what they do.
I was like, every time you turn around, Brunson's having a big game. It was suddenly, they're negative 13 when Brunson's on the court, and they're +5 when he's off the court. So y'all want to go New York without Brunson against Indiana? Like, what are we doing? Are we just looking for somebody to just throw blame on I don't like that. Not that it can't be true. Like, it could be true that you can be a defensive liability, but I'm not gonna give you 40 and all of a sudden I'm the problem when people have given you less than that, but crazy numbers from different teams for years and played no defense, and there's no real backlash. So I don't like when people start doing that, but people gonna be people.
I don't like it either. That's why I don't pay attention to a lot of these people. These people so moment to moment, game to game. And then the folks that kill me with this stuff, especially in this series, the last series too, is half of these people, you can have an opinion. I'm cool with having an opinion, but half of these people haven't watched. They're just now beginning to watch, so they can form overall opinions off of one or two games, or maybe even a series, of just how good somebody is or there isn't. This is definitely what the problem is, but it's just so many experts, and then even the closet folks. Y'all can come on out the closet, with the BS now. Just I don't care who wins the series. I don't care who does this, but then of course you always got some little sneaky stuff to say.
Yeah,
I don't entertain a lot of that because I refuse to fall into being what a lot of you people are. Okay, I refuse to, and it mess with my sanity, But my thing is this: mostly just about all of y'all that got something to say. And I'm not speaking on my boys, but I can just say it about a lot of teams because I seen what y'all said about Boston too. Is y'all peoples was already sitting at home, sitting at home after the first round, whatever it may be, but y'all experts now, so I don't know. People know everything, man, that's based on a couple of games or even a series, it just kills me. But and a lot of people have stuff, to say about Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
You take the good with the bad with Jalen Brunson. Some of it Jalen Brunson's fault, some of it's not his fault or what he has to do. Somebody has to go on the coaches. But y'all experts on everything. And y'all, that's what they did. I told y'all they want this, they want that. But yeah, a lot of y'all told us we was going home first round too. So, first round is going to be a first round. There was no way y'all beating Boston. I didn't think we was going to beat it. But at the end of the day, I want game by game like some of y'all. Oh, there it is. It's over now. So then y'all get quiet for a game or two. Then I told you, I'm like, man, just these people are crazy,
man. Yeah. That's what they do. They know they're annoying, Caesar. They know they're being annoying.
Yeah, he in the chat now
with that daily flip-flopping. It's over for New York. Oh, New York is going to go another game.
Yeah.
50. You have a 50% chance of being right if you just show up with one team or the other's going to win. Every game.
Night.
It's 50.
Yeah. It's over now. They're just in the third. I knew it. They're just in the third, and then somebody pull a 14-point comeback with whatever that they ain't got in the safe for a game or two. I'm just going to wait. Yeah. I'll be talking again.
Mm-hmm.
your team sitting at home. I know I would have an opinion, but I'm cool with that part of it. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say sometimes, but these people just experts. Then half the people they talk about is not this and not that, but let them slide over your squad. I'm sure a lot of y'all have something to say. Would love to have Jalen Brunson on your squad. I love you. None of y'all got something to say. All of a sudden, no matter what you feel, I told y'all Tibbs ain't whatever. Blah, 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 in the third, but no matter how you feel about Tibbs, and I got some beef with Tibbs, but by the same token, but I don't know though, man. When he was in Chicago, he did do blah, blah, blah. We gonna see. You gonna see now, but he was trash 2 weeks ago. So I don't know, man. People gonna be people.
Yeah, exactly. And the same goes for New York as the team, because it's New York made it. Well, they just got back to the same place they made it last year.
Yeah,
New York made it further. Oh, New York's they're going to the finals. They're going to win the championship.
Yeah.
Oh, they lost. Oh, see, I told you it was trash. No, they made it further than they made last year. So,
Well, New York is going to be New York, and New York is a different breed of people, bro. they different, but see, and not to say, they take the good with it. They gonna take the heartbreak. They gonna take the smash to the face, hurt feelings. And then of course they gonna come next year and have Timberland sitting in the middle of your basketball court when they're on the beach. So
hold on, Prime. Yeah. Why did Buster and them wait till Game 6 to pull up with the New York Knicks song? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Hold up. Why is the city putting the players' names on streets? What are we doing? We're just doing whatever.
New York, though, I don't think I can. Look, shout out to my peoples up there. I'm a diehard Knicks fan, but I don't think I would ever want to live in New York. Them people wilding, man. Those people wilding.
Crazy.
We win the championship one day. You want to do that, but I'm not gonna stop anybody from doing what they want to do because they doing it in their city. And but I'll say this, Source.
We made it
pick up on. I will say this though. Can you, no matter what you think about the New York Knicks and the craziest statements they get on the F trade, is there another basketball franchise? I could say sports because they're gonna be up there. and they ain't winning no championships, but they're gonna be up there. That embraces their legacy, good or bad, the way New York Knicks do, though. Because let's be honest. When you and I were coming up, and still to this day, but all you used to see, and rightfully so, because the Lakers were winning championships, is all they talked about was the amount of people in attendance, the stars at the Lakers games. You saw the same people. They supported Jack Nicholson. They was going to be there, right? You know they was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
New York Knicks, though, ain't won a daggone thing since the damn specific. They ain't won. But the way those players come back to that city, it's players in New York Knicks that went and played for 2-3 other squads after New York. They got people you gonna recognize. You got people that grew up, Marbury, Spree come back. You got people that only Knicks people gonna remember and tell you that's Kurt Thomas. Oh, it's Kurt Thomas. Dude, Chris Childs was at the game the other day.
Oh, word? I didn't see that.
I ain't even recognize Chris, man. Chris Childs was out there. I think he'd been at 2 games, but he was in the Garden the other night, and his face a little bit fuller. He can put a little weight on for this one. It was to the point, if you wouldn't have told me that was Chris Childs right offhand, that wouldn't have been my first thought, right? So the other thing I'll say about it is we're talking about how much the game has changed over the years. But you're talking about how we view players in eras, who to go, who's not to go. This wouldn't have flew back then. This wouldn't have flown or whatever. The essence of loving a basketball team or a franchise. At this point, we can't win a championship, but ain't nobody doing it like the Knicks do it in the Garden. It's going to ultimately lead to a lot of heads hanging or somebody got to go type situation. Right. But the fandom with the New York Knicks is crazy. And this thing ain't just starting. This is the thing. Knicks fans will tell you it's just not just because they in the playoffs. Now it gets a little bit bigger when they get in the playoffs.
Right.
Well, you can watch a Knicks game 2 weeks before the All-Star break.
Yeah, true.
Man, everybody in that bad boy. Fat Joe was in, and he didn't wait till the playoffs. Fat Joe in there, this is what they do. So, the Knicks gonna be the Knicks. It just, I think the world is just grateful. Non-Knicks fans are just grateful that the Knicks ain't winning championships right now, because you ain't gonna be able to stand. What's gonna be? They're gonna be wild and hard.
You never hit the end of that jump.
You talking about y'all people in Philly getting arrested winning these Super Bowls? Can you imagine the amount of people that's going downtown if the Knicks ever win a championship, bro?
Yeah.
They're going to bring in outside help.
They bring in people from New Jersey.
They might be called the Avengers, too.
It's real.
So I love that part of it. I will say I love that part of it, though. The photos I've seen over the past week, man, even the Boston series have been crazy to see all these old heads and folks that played after them and all in these pictures together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's crazy. Melo ain't won a damn thing in New York. You know what I'm saying? But most of the people still love Melo, so Melo, he out there in pictures, and Bernard, it's just crazy. With Clyde, I love these Clyde and Kurt together over here, and I love seeing that stuff. Daggone Lance Thomas. Nobody even know Lance Thomas. Lance Thomas in the daggone picture. Now you tell me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but so it is what it is, man. We'll move on. I'm sure there'll be a lot of talk as far as the Knicks side about what's next. Taylor's gonna be back. He's not gonna be back. Do you still try to make a move and see what dangle out there and see what you would need to get? To maybe try to get a Giannis. That's gonna be the talk. Probably ain't gonna happen. But do you go ahead and move Carl after a year? It's just so much. Do you get these people another full season together? It's just a lot, man.
Indeed. It's the way the game goes at this point. It's always going to be change. And it's been that way for a while, so it's nothing new. But, yeah, if you don't meet the ultimate goal, Something got to change.
Yeah, something's got to change. So pretty much the Knicks did what they set out to do. It just didn't end the way. They set out to beat the Boston, build a roster to beat the Boston Celtics, which they did. But I think they were figuring that was going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, so it's kind of bittersweet. So it's, you know what I'm saying? You didn't get to where, most people said, some people were saying that we got to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Some people were saying, no, we got to at least make it to the championship. Now, on the flip side, I know I said this about the Boston series, but there's nothing in me that's going to tell me we was going to come remotely close to competing with OKC. So that's, so did we, I'm not trying to make anything good out of this, but do we even go to OKC? Do we win a game? I mean, I don't know. Maybe one. Get lucky. I don't know.
Man. Yeah.
That's OKC something different. That's something different.
It's gonna be a fun series. I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, what you think about that series, man? Like, what you think about it? Because I know reading through Twitter this morning, and granted, we are a society where people just what they see now. There are some people that are legitimately turning their heads and say, "But wait a minute, I know we talking about OKC, but I mean, man, these people might have a chance. Indiana might have a chance in this thing."
Definitely.
Like, what you think?
This is going to be a good series. I'm annoyed when people. Two things. One, I mean, people do it all the time, but people focus. I'm like, dog, why do you care so much about the ratings? Why do you care about the ratings? You're not getting any money from the ratings. What difference? Indiana's good, right? Indiana can play.
Yeah.
So why are you so concerned about the ratings of this is going to be boring? I tell people talking about it's going to be a sleeper, it's boring, because it's Indiana instead of New York. So you're talking about all the stuff that's outside of basketball, but you're talking about basketball. It don't matter who it is. If the two teams are good, why do you care? Why do you care? OKC been the best team, most of the season, all the season, especially in the West. Indiana has been. I mean, people were talking about Indiana making a run before the playoffs, and you go back to last season, but before the playoffs, and then as soon as we got into the playoffs, you saw how they were playing, and they're still here. If anybody can match up with OKC, it's Indiana. They kind of built the same way.
Yeah.
Outside of having SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's
really
a different type of guy. A different type of guy. Outside of that, they are built similar. So why one would think that it's going to be a cakewalk, I don't know. And of course, it could be. I mean, once you see somebody face to face and you match up with them directly, of course you get a better story on that particular matchup. But I don't see why people are just looking at OKC like they're gonna watch Indiana as if Indiana's not good, as if this is not the finals. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what's going to be interesting. So when do they start? Thursday. So they start on Thursday. How much rest can Indiana get? Because even though they won the series against New York 4-2, it was a physical series, especially down low. So what the recovery looking like? What's the status of these players from Indiana? They got nicked up, hurt. We were talking about depth, especially in this thing. So I think that's going to be very important. I think the key here is the benches. People found out just how deep Indiana can go and how masterful Carlisle is with the lineups, who he puts on the court. Do I give McConnell 25 minutes this game, or do I give McConnell 15 minutes? Like, who do I have on the court? What's the situation? They're going to go deep. The thing is, OKC bench ain't shabby either. And I think the benches are going to play key to this. If you want to ask me, I'm going to go OKC still, because the one thing, not just because they won 68 games in the regular season, but they're excellent defensively. Not that Indiana is shabby. We saw how Indiana did this past series, right? But excellent defensively in OKC. and I give the edge to them on the boards. When you get down there on the boards with Holmgren, Hardenstein, like Indiana has you can out rebound Indiana.
Right.
They don't pin their hat up or put their hat up on being able to rebound the basketball. They do what they can. They have some good nights. A lot of nights they don't, but they pin their hat on being able to at least overcome all of that by just scoring on the other end or holding down enough. But I like OKC on the boards. Defensively, like I say, both are good, man. But if you got players like, they got 2 all NBA defensive players, Lou Dort and Jalen Williams.
They
tough, bro. Like, and this is why I'm going to give OKC the edge in this thing. Like, I just think, not that I don't think the Indiana can win it, but if you put the defense together with the fact that the more opportunities OKC is going to have with the ball, being able to bang the boards the way they do. With that defense, we see Indiana like to pick up sometimes 3/4, full court. OKC can do that too. And they're masterful at not expelling energy. I've seen times where they'll start off early in a first period. They're going full court. Then they might peel it back halfway into the second and maybe pick you up at half or whatever. Not that Halliburton can't handle the rock. We know he can be a distributor for 3/4 of a game and score when he needs to. But I just love the way they employ their defense, man. So I don't know, if you would have asked me, I'm thinking OKC. I'm gonna take them maybe 4-2.
That's exactly what I was thinking. OKC and 6. But again, Indiana's gonna play them tough. You know what? I want to say OKC in 5. But
I've been seeing some of that this morning from a couple of writers that I follow.
But people think if somebody losing 5, it's like they got blown out. No, I'm talking about a tough 5. A tough 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to go ahead and take OKC in 5. A tough 5. Again, the average person going to see who won and who lost and just take that as, at face value. But it's going to be a tough series, back and forth. The same way that the New York Indiana series was, even if New York had lost in Game 5. It was still a tough series. They still played tough. It ain't like they was out here getting dragged on a regular basis. It ain't like they shouldn't have won Game 1.
Yeah.
There was no reason for them to lose that joint. But add all that together, people still going to look at it as 5 games. I'm going to take OKC in 5, but a tough, back and forth, exciting 5 games.
That was my original. I was thinking at 5 too, but this time I get Indiana the benefit of the doubt. Not like they could pull one out. The question though, and I know you and I have had past shows where we talked about stars and superstars. Let's lay it on the table. What is Halliburton to you? Because he was people saying he was overrated. Then there's been talk recently about him not being a superstar. Like, what is he to you? And has his recent play, is he a playoffs, changed your opinion about anything about him?
Okay, none of these people are superstars. in the reality of the world, ain't none of them superstars. Because when they pop up on the TV, people will be like, "Who is that?" The average person will be like, "Who is that? I don't know this person." Oh, that's even SGA, as great as he has been since he's gotten to OKC, as great as he has been, was it his third? This is his third for a second. His second All NBA. Well, third All NBA overall. Making one of the teams. MVP. People don't know SGA when they see him.
They don't.
They be like, "Who is this dude?" Oh, I've seen him before. Some people ain't even seen him before. Look, Michael Jordan, but if we're going, that's extreme. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, LeBron, KD. Everybody doesn't have to be a superstar. I don't need it. The same way that we give people entrance to the halls of fame at this point, and it seems like it's getting the rules are getting more lax. The
Yes.
requirements are getting more lax. Calling people superstars, it's the way of the world. Again, Prime, it's the way of the world. When we talk about hip hop, classic album, or that album's a classic, or that album is perfect. No, it's not. No, that it's not.
Right.
And when you match it against other albums that are classics or perfect, you see the difference. But just looking at it for what it is in this, you can't even put these people against LeBron now as a superstar.
Right.
You go say LeBron, KD, Steph. Throw Jokic in there.
Yeah.
Then you kind of get to SGA. And not because he doesn't deserve it, but this ain't even a question. I'm just saying, this wasn't even a question.
Right.
Halliburton is a good player. If you want to call him a star, cool. Halliburton ain't nobody's superstar, bro. Like, let's be for real. Let's be for real. Like, the rules are too flip-floppy. That man can't score 30 and then have 6. Get out of my face with that bull. Like, what are we doing? 6 points? That's what we're doing? And again, it's not his job to always score 30. But still, we throw the words around too easily, too much, and give that nod to too many people. That man, if you want to call him a star, cool. If you going past a star, I'm good on all that. I'm good on all that.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear. Well, I want to see what happens, and we'll see if Halliburton plays well and how he plays in this series, and then when this thing is over, whether they win or lose, I want to see the conversation, because if he doesn't play well, and then there's going to be the people say, "I told you," blah blah blah, and in big moments. If he plays well and they lose, people still going to say he couldn't get his team over the hump. Now, if he plays terribly, then you really give. It's going to be so much. I'm just waiting to see everybody's opinion or what they have to say about him once this series is over.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna flip. It's gonna change. Now, hey, look, I said all that. That ain't got nothing to do with that man being on the Olympic team. Like,
right.
I'm not mad at him being on the Olympic team. And he also got the kind of treatment that he deserved in that moment. Like, that's
right.
He needed to sit there. Like, he ain't supposed to be on the court with these people necessarily for the Olympic team. No, he was good where he was. But yeah, I appreciated the way he played and all that good stuff. We ain't got to make everybody a superstar. But I had one thing I wanted to ask you about. I should have pulled up a picture. When you were talking about Rick Carlisle, I just wanted to be like, do you ever just stop and think, Rick Carlisle, UVA, this is
all the time.
Rick Carlisle, this is the guy.
Like, it's funny even thinking about Rick, because I remember, I was, when we were kids. I'm talking about like young. I was all Virginia. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was everything that was around, because that's when the newspaper was good, and
right.
We broke our necks to look at the paper, not just the comics, but the sports page, and I was, man, UVA down. I'm talking, Ralph Sampson, Othell. I remember I think I might have told you that. I basically pretty much cried when I woke up and found out when they lost to Chaminade. I remember, he used to go hard. So I remember all these dudes.
Yeah.
If you'd ever told me that Rick Carlisle was going to become a successful coach, I didn't even think about him being a coach. Then he becomes a coach, and then he's lasted in the league this long and been successful. Like, this is Rick Carlisle, dude. I don't know, man. It's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. It's wild times, man.
Wow.
But yeah, Looking forward to the series. It's gonna be a good time, but we'll see how it goes. But enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Don't worry about the ratings and all that other stuff. Enjoy the basketball that's happening on the court, and you might see some good stuff.
Yeah, man, we don't care about no ratings, man. It's like y'all doing these movies nowadays, and it's only really happening with superhero movies, but everybody's talking about ratings these days and how many people went to the theater to see it. Anybody caring about this stuff right now, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, was it
People
good?
who want to
The
see it
movie?
and go watch it and see it, and the people who don't not gonna go see it. And at least in the movie aspect, they still gonna make money because that's what streaming and DVDs like. So it is what it is. But the people all caught up in ratings and what everybody want to see, and I mean, I don't know, man. We beyond that. The only thing I got left on this ain't about the series. Just do you know why? As much as I like the kid, sometimes it pains me to watch SGA.
Why is that?
Because he's supposed to be a Knick. I don't know if you remember, but we selected Kevin Knox instead of SGA in that draft. Kevin Knox.
You sound like me with Justin Jefferson.
I'm glad that didn't happen. Not just the fact that he's one of my favorite players in the league, but you know the rest. Not like y'all needed no help, but I mean, at this point, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. So the series kicking off, get a little space. But starts on Thursday, and we'll run on through and see what happens. I'm sure we'll talk about that again. So let's jump over to the women, man. Let's get the women some love. I've been chomping at the bit to get to these ladies here.
Yeah.
So WNBA. Like I said, I know you've had a busy week or so. Have you been able to get much in on the women's front?
I've seen more highlights than anything else. I haven't seen a lot of games in the last week, the last week and a couple of days.
Well, we know what the big story is. The big story is, of course, Caitlin Clark. CC, of course, set to miss at least 2 weeks with the injury, and everybody was wondering how would Indiana fare. And most people thought that Indiana would be fine. Hey, they built this team. You and I talked about just how they were built, and this is team would be successful with her, and they can turn into a monster and a title contender. And it's still early, but I don't think this is quite panned out so far the way they thought it was going to pan out. They've been struggling hard, man. They've been struggling
struggling hard, but I'm sure we're gonna talk about somebody else that's been struggling, an individual. But I feel like they're 2-4. Like they're not playing well, but they lost the last two without their who was the fourth in MVP voting last year as a rookie, Caitlin Clark. So without her, they 0-2, I believe. So they were 2-2 with her.
Right.
And things take time. Like, people act like stuff is supposed to happen overnight a lot of times. Things take time and fitting together. Caitlin Clark, who got to get her shots up, aside from passing the rock around. Kelsey Mitchell, who's going to get her buckets. Aaliyah Boston, who's playing great for the most part. Showing why all those people were silly, talking crazy at the beginning of last season because they don't know what they're talking about. But then you add in Natasha Howard, who has been, and DeWanna Bonner, and she's actually, it seems like she's made it a point to not even attack offensively as much because there's so much going on, and somebody's got to be like Kobe was in that Olympics. Somebody got to be like, you know what? I'm gonna be on the other end. Y'all catch me on the other end. I'll get my buckets when I get them. All these things have to come together. If they're not gonna come together in 6 games, that's crazy. And expecting it to, even though the season is 40 games.
Mm-hmm. Or did they add 4 games this year? Is it
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think they add either 2 or 4, but anyway, yep.
So we're what 13% through the season. Like we got to give these people a chance to mesh in some sort of way before we go too crazy on them. But I'm with you. They definitely have not played as well as we would expected, especially what I was expecting. But again, Caitlin Clark is out right now. She's out for 2 weeks, so another week and a half or so. And it's not going to be an easy walkthrough. It ain't going to be easy. That's one thing. It's not going to be easy. But we expected more because these pieces were given to Caitlin Clark, who, again, was the fourth highest voted MVP last year, and she already passes the rock. So adding more people to pass the rock to seems like a win-win. It just hasn't been that as of yet. So they're okay though. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's been a funny thing to watch, and I've seen all of the games. Right, I think the low point is if you go back to their last game that they lost, it was to the previously winless Connecticut Sun.
Yeah,
Mabry and them they were going at it in that game. It was a very entertaining watch. But they also caught that L to a team that that I've been very fond of this year, which we'll briefly talk on here in a little bit. But they lost to the Mystics too.
Yeah.
And that was a highly entertaining game. It looked like 1 minute there was gonna be a runaway, then it wasn't, and it was crazy. So the last game that they had that the Clark played in, of course, was that loss to the Liberty. That everybody was all up in the air about it. The final play when Cloud knocks the ball away from not even let CC get the shot up, and they went in an uproar and all type of stuff started with that. I told you it was a foul. They hating on her and this, that, and the third. Who is that other? Nobody even knows that other girl. It's just but anyway, and people using that dumb logic because I'm like, how dumb can you be? So stuff is rigged against the breadwinners you telling us, right? So they want the Indiana to lose. All right, this is where we at now. And then of course Stephanie White's comments before then didn't help either because she said they're not getting the benefit of the calls and all that. But people are legitimately out here crying, talking about it's rigged against the Fever. People want them to lose. I'm like, the WNBA. Okay, yeah, they're gonna sabotage the breadwinner. Okay, y'all just real. Tell us how intelligent you guys are, right?
Right.
But you mentioned DeWanna Bonner, and that's the thing. I know it's early, but you talk about somebody trying to find their way because before she came out with the 21-point game against Washington, she'd been struggling.
Yeah.
Trying to find, if you watch it, trying to find her way. I think she's at an average of maybe about 7 points a game, I believe. 7 points right now. Not that I expect her to come out here and be a 18-point game scorer, but she genuinely, when you watch her play, it's almost like I'm like a rookie to me trying to find their way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to overstep here, but I need to insert here, and
Right.
And I've been watching her very closely, but she put up 21 the other day. The highlight has been Aaliyah Boston. Leah Boston is clearly, and I'm gonna say this even with the games that she's had, Leah Boston has been the best player. She has gotten busy. The only time I seen somebody really get the best of her, I was watching her. Kiki was giving her work the other night, though. When she ended up on Kiki, I mean, not that she played bad in that game herself, but Kiki was pulling away from the basket a little bit. It was Kiki was giving her that work. I love me some Kiki, but Boston putting up them 16, man, doing her thing. But yeah, it's just something that's crazy to watch right now, to watch them try to put it together without her. And to watch Caitlin Clark from the bench, like just chomping at the bench. Like I said, Caitlin, look, I know you don't care. People already got the little feelings whether they love you, don't like you, but she out there laying the refs out from the bench. She walked onto the court the other day.
Yeah. You know what that smells like, though, Prime? You know what is. This smells like privilege. It smells like privilege. That's crazy. The actions are crazy.
Had that been Angel Reese?
Oh my gosh, it'd be the end of the world. Oh, she's classless. How she gonna go on the court? She ain't even playing. It'd be a whole line of questioning. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I was like, man, soon as she's been the last 2 games, she's been very vocal at the rest, which is one thing enough. But when you're saying that there's members of the coaching staff, assistant coach, who kind of just nicely is like, we cool, that calm, saying that to you while you sitting on the bench, but trying to not make it obvious, like, so if a camera's on, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's wild. It's wild. Let that been Angel Reese or somebody else, man. Coming off the bench to say something to the ref.
Yep.
You in street clothes. And something I didn't know. I don't know if not that I care. So anybody that watches this, I do not care about what anybody does in their personal life. I'm all for it. I'm not one to judge, right? At all. But do you know who Stephanie White's partner is?
No, I saw a story of talking about it yesterday, but the other face was covered up, and I didn't read the story.
What's crazy enough is it's not crazy at all. Shout out to them, respectfully. But the fact to me, it's just crazy because it's in Indiana. Her partner, of course, she was married before, and so was her partner, and I guess whatever didn't work out.
Don't you say who I think? Go ahead.
No, you're not gonna guess. But it's somebody's face that it's Lisa Salters.
Get out of here.
Yes, Lisa Salters is her partner, and they live together. Yeah, they live down there together. So, and I was just like, wow, the face of the Fever, coach of the Fever, not the face, the coach of the Fever, and her partner happens to be someone that is not of the same race. Not that it matters, but we know how not all, but some of the folks down there.
Man, I wouldn't even think about that part of it. Yeah. I would just think about Lisa Salters, period.
Yep, Lisa Salters.
That is crazy. That's wild. Unexpected.
Yep, Lisa Salters. Shout out to that couple, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, so if we look at the next, do I have that here? I may not have it. Let me see real quick. I thought I had it up here. We don't know the exact time that she's coming back. I do. Here it is right here. I think this is it. There we go. So we look at the next few games. So they got a chance on Tuesday to get revenge on the Mystics. Then, of course, they will play. Caitlin Clark will miss the matchup against the Fever. Still, and the Fever still have no business losing that game. But, And then, of course, they are a team that I'm pleasantly happy about. Not my squad.
I'll wait for you to say something.
The Atlanta Dream. Doing really well. I think they were 5-2 right now, doing really well. Now I'm loving every minute of it, especially my girl over there getting busy as of late.
Yes, she is.
Then, of course, they'll take on the Fever again, and then the Connecticut Suns. I don't know if she falls in. Maybe, I guess we'll have a better idea maybe after the game against the Dream, maybe. I'm not quite sure. So, because remember they said at least 2 weeks.
True.
Yeah, so. WNBA, one of those joints, man, for me personally, man, that it's even, I look forward to a lot of these games when both the teams ain't playing well. Oh man, the Sky playing the Wings? Oh, snap.
Exactly.
Bro, like, where else can you do that?
Every game. It don't matter who playing who. Anybody.
Yeah. It's crazy. But, what else here? So the Mystics, we talked about the Mystics briefly. Coach Sidney Johnson got them playing really well, all things considered. I think they're about 3-4 right now. Coming in, Kiki Kiki is crazy right now, 14-10. Has to be in this very short season. We ain't played, most teams ain't played with 5 games, 5 to 7 games, depending on who play.
Yeah.
Would be the eyes on favorite right now for rookie of the year, I think. We see Paige is finding her way, and I think Paige is doing fine. Her situation, but Kiki, along with her co-rookie teammate Sonia Citron, fun to watch, man. Fun to watch. Even Citron averaging the same amount of points, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I thought, Aaliyah Edwards is just getting back, so
yeah,
we'll see how
she's still finding her way.
But yeah, she gonna have to find her way. But now she got to don't get Wally pipped out here. Don't get Wally pipped. Don't let it be you.
Well, the good thing about Kiki is the good thing when they can run Kiki is they can play her at the 4 or the 3. So when they get Aaliyah back to running again for real, and that could be a very interesting matchup too. A very team up.
Look how tough this team would have been though if Georgia was still healthy,
distributing crazy
with Slim. They would have jumped from really bad to pretty good real quick.
How do we forget this though? This just tells you how impressive these 2 rookies are, because we're sitting here not even speaking on the player who's actually really been their best player. Nobody's talking about who their best player is. It's Brittany Sykes. Brittany Sykes, what did she come in? No, number 3, I believe, and tied for 3rd in scoring, I think, in the league. She's no worse than 4th. She's having like 21 a game. But Brittany Sykes has been fire. And we can't even speak on her. Like, her leadership is crazy because you see she's one of the first one to run to Kiki. She's running the side. She's running to everybody talking. But what she's done on the court, she's been giving people work.
Yeah.
Giving people work. And we're not even talking about her because these 2 rookies have been so good.
Right.
Yeah, so kind of a career resurgence, man.
Definitely.
Shout out to the Mystics, man. Shout out to the Mystics, man. Bringing excitement back, to this league, because there's only 2 undefeated teams right now, and of course they're the 2 teams that played in the WNBA finals.
Sitting at 6-0 apiece.
Yeah.
Looking real.
AJ, what's up, bro? Shout out to you in OKC. I hollered at Jay this morning, man. No doubt. Go out there and make something happen.
That's awesome.
Yep. It's going to be fun. And of course, the other team we got to touch on, of course, as we mentioned, will be the Chicago Sky. Struggling. Not that we didn't expect them to struggle. I've been saying that, even way back when they went out and made the trade for Ariel Atkins, and people like, what are you doing? Let Kennedy Carter go, no matter what the reason is. She's over there dominating Mexico. I think last I looked, she's the leading scorer over there, having a ball. They treating her. She almost getting the Marbury treatment. She just ain't won no titles over there. Because Marbury, when Marbury was overseas, them people they didn't put statue up, everything stuff on Marbury. They said they wouldn't let this man pay for food over there, nothing. Right. And the little short stint that Kennedy Carter's been over there is she been every time I look, man, she can't walk nowhere. Like they want a picture, they hugging her. She's signing stuff, and little people losing their mind over a pair of sneakers. Like
she's signing stuff. She's signing stuff.
Look, somebody gonna call her mid-season. Look, we trying to. You want to come out? You want to come back over here? I don't know. It's gonna have to be somebody big time, really. I think competing for a WNBA, championship for her to really think about it if she could get out of. Oh no, I got it pretty good over here, dog. I ain't paid for a meal in 2 months.
Right. And add in Teaspoon and the treatment of her.
Yeah. I don't know.
So Chicago losing, they deserve it. Whatever they deserve to lose. But
yeah,
I digress.
They trying to fire Tyler Marshall already about it. Bro, it's bad enough in the WNBA groups, but in the Chicago Sky group I'm in, oh, it's ugly. They in that bad boy. I mean, so the conversations be comical in that joint, but they be going on. And some of these folks are, they're logical, but there's some people in there that's just going off like they expected this team to be like top 5 in the league this year. So I'm like, what did y'all expect? We told you. Yeah, we told you. Poor Tyler Marsh, man. Oh, seemed like a likable guy, but I know he catch it ugly.
Yeah, and let me say this, well, since we talking Chicago real quick. If we're gonna make comparisons, can we stop comparing Angel Reese to anybody? Why? Here's the problem. When you're a star and people don't know what they're talking about, then they automatically think you're a star, so let me put you against another person that we think is a star.
Yeah.
As if y'all's responsibilities are the same on the basketball court. If Angel Reese is your leading scorer, you're not going to be good. Nothing against Angel Reese. She averaged 13 and 13 last year.
Yeah.
I think she averaged like 13 right now. If Angel Reese is your leading scorer, you're not going to be good because she's not a bucket getter.
She's 10 and 12 at the moment, but yeah.
So y'all asking for a rebounder, defender to be as valuable game to game on the court, or as looked at as valuable as the person that scores 22 points. The average fan, and most people are not fans, they just like to talk. The average
clowns. I said
is not gonna appreciate 10 and 12 and be able to even compare it to 22 points because all they know is points. I played point guard long ago. Somehow, I remember my dad, who I ain't even gonna get into all that, but he didn't even come to many games. But when he did, he was always like, "Wish you shoot the ball more." He didn't know basketball, and that was not my job. That was not what I was supposed to be doing. So all people see is points. That's all they know is points, and that's what they focus on when they don't know what they're talking about for real. So just let Angel Reese rock, please. Jeez.
Yeah, we're gonna cook on this a little bit because first of all, and tell me where I missed it. I tried my best in our group. I put a couple of questions out last week. One of them was direct. Some people knew what I was getting at because a couple of people inboxed me.
I did.
Some people probably didn't. It flew over some people's heads.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. So first of all, I do want to know, when did anybody ever say that Angel was a bucket getter? Like she was really a scorer?
Ever.
Tell me, because the first conversations, that come up, and people are talking about, she's not even CC's, she can't shoot the ball. You understand that? She's not a bucket getter. When somebody said she was. And anybody said, if you are a fan of basketball, you got to be a fan of Angel Reese. You're not telling folks things they don't know. Angel is not a shooter. She obviously has trouble scoring in the paint. You're not saying anything new, but you choose to have to put that in every conversation. Somebody tell me when defense and rebounds, all of a sudden we're not part of basketball. All right. I don't think you're going to find anybody that's going to disagree with you when they tell you, hey, it ain't pretty most of the time when Angel get the ball under the basket. It's not. Okay. We don't need you to put that up there every time we bring up her name. You can't bring up Cece without saying something about Angel Reese. And still there were folks, when I made the comment, that still proceeded to start talking about how Angel's not a star. She can't this. And the one that I see the most, whether it's our group or in other groups, how she going to be, that's good that she can do this modeling out because she can be out of the league in 3 years. Mm-hmm. What makes you think it's only 2 ways Angel Reese is out of the league in 3 years? I'm sorry to tell y'all. One, she decides she don't want to do it no more, or 2, I don't want to put no.
Don't even say it. Yeah, we know. Yeah,
right. That's it. Because getting boards is never going to go away. Playing defense is never going to go away. And then I'm going to hit you with something else. I made one of the posts I put up. I asked if a person is top 5 in merchandising sales, in their particular sport and league, are they not valuable to the league or the franchise? And you might say, well, what does merchandising have to do with play on the court? Well, from what most of y'all tell me, I mean, it may not. From what most of y'all tell me, when y'all tell me she's going to be out of the league in a couple of years, 2-3 years, right. But you are quick to tell me how much money CC bringing in. Right. First of all, I'm not a dummy. I know how much money CC brings. Everybody knows that, so I don't need you to tell me that every time something comes up about CC. I know and respect it. But you're talking about money. Money. Angel Reese last year had the number 2 selling jersey in the entire WNBA. She didn't sell close to the amount of jerseys that CC, so nobody did. But she had the number 2 selling jersey in the league. Y'all are talking about value. That's what y'all are telling me, because y'all quick to bring up the money. What makes you think the WNBA is just going to not want to have Angel Reese? Y'all say she can buy the league in 2 or 3 years. No, she not. All right. Unless things would have happened. Number 2, this year, she has a top 5 selling jersey in the league right now. She's taking a couple of spots because, of course, Paige going to get, Paige is in the mix, for a lot of reasons. Some CC, some because of, the hope for a fan base. Kate Martin has gotten in there. People love Kate Martin, but still, she's at the top. Is she not valuable to the league? She has a top 5 selling jersey. Forget the court stuff. Let's not get y'all stay out the court stuff. Y'all want to throw up money. The league can't survive. The NBA should be tired of doing this. It's not. Don't make it about money, and then don't make it about money. And then, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Now, to my last point, when we're talking about merchandise sales, let's talk about social media following. Did you see this?
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Most followed. No, it ain't got nothing to do with the court. I ain't gonna say it got nothing to do with the court, but we're talking about follows, money, exposure to your league. Don't change it up now. Don't keep throwing the CC narrative at me about the money, which we already know. We don't need y'all to keep regurgitating. We understand. We're not dumb. We understand that. But my thing is, one of the most popular players in the WNBA, period. So y'all can miss me with that BS, man. That BS y'all talking about, when Angel Reese gonna do this and do that, and y'all talking about a sport y'all hardly even watch. I mean, y'all go sit down somewhere, man.
Sit down and shut up.
And shut up, yeah. Shut up. So. But somebody get back to me and tell me when it was ever said that Angel Reese was a bucket getter and we expected her to be, somebody even slid in on a couple of different groups. And I'm fine with for it to happen. But the way they got to this point was ridiculous. Basically talking about they want Paige to continue to grow and become the star so that can be the real rivalry with CC. Okay, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. They're going to do their thing. Man, be great for us to be great for them if that were to happen, right? But the fact, I didn't need all that stuff sitting on top of it. Yeah, because Angel Reese, blah, blah, can't even score 14 points. Other side, the third one. That ain't no rivalry. It's okay.
You know why it's not a rivalry? Because one team is good and one team is bad. One team is better than the other. Squad. Yeah, it's going to always be that though. It still goes back to the same thing. It all goes back to the same thing. And think of the fact that you just showed the picture of the 10 most followed WNBA players, and 6 of them are white, points to the same thing. One comes off the bench. One has been hurt since she's been in the league. Nothing against them. I'm just saying. Nothing against them. I got no problem with them. I'm just saying. Haley Van Lith comes off the bench, and she's been hurt part of the season. Cameron Brink ain't played. This is her second season. She played for a hot second because she got hurt. She's been out. So all the negativity and always talking about black women in a negative way when talking about the WNBA, yet somehow 6 of the top 10 listed most followed WNBA players are white, speaks to the obvious thing that we talk about, and it accentuates how popular Angel Reese has to be.
Yeah.
Hold it. Wait. Hold on, Prime. Hold on. From 1 through 8. 2 through 8. 2 through 8. The only player that's mentioned that's not white is the 3-time MVP, and she's fifth. She's fifth.
Yep.
Come on now, Doug. Come on now.
Yep.
Like, be for real.
Yep. So people just make it about what they want to make it about, and that's just what it is. You know, don't tell me it's about what somebody brings to the league, and then when it fits in another player, you want to talk about they ain't nowhere, but you don't want to use the same logic, right? You know, come on, man. I seen the cutest little white girl on social media, maybe about a month or so back, and you can imagine the comments because she was dressed like Angel Reese. She was at the game. No, it was a couple weeks ago. And she was at the game, and Angel saw her, and you know, I think she signed her stuff.
Oh yeah, signed her stuff. Yeah.
One of the joints I saw, the comments under the joint was crazy. The comments was crazy, just because it was Angel Reese and all the other stuff come with being Angel Reese.
Because it all points back to the same thing. It all points back to the same thing. It's always going to point to that. No matter how people try to jump around it, avoid it, not say it, it's going to always point back to the same thing. And obviously, that's not why all the people that like Caitlin Clark. It is why a certain section of people care about the WNBA suddenly, and they like Caitlin Clark. That's the conversation. But you know,
y'all got to throw in the money though. We understand. We understand. We understand. Yeah. Last thing I got on that is I was in one group and I was talking about Asia Wilson, and I said about Asia Wilson, you know, being, you know, that girl or whatever. And of course, someone from the fan base over there told me that Asia Wilson is clearly not the best player in the league. And you know the reason why?
What?
The money. She's not the best player on the court because Caitlin is definitely the best player, 100% because of the money she brings. We can't just talk about basketball. We got to talk about money, exposure.
But again, most people are dumb.
A whole lot of people are dumb.
A lot of people are dumb, and then there's a section of people that don't know sports, and then they're coming together, creating a whole new group of people that are like top tier stupidity.
Yeah. So, man, it is what it is. These people are crazy, man. Quick thing, man, before we get out of Chicago, though, I did want to say this. And I don't know if you've noticed it, because we talked about Angel Reese and quick mention we saw in the popularity with Haley Van Lith and Ariel Atkins. I mentioned her. But Cardoso, and I try to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm really trying because I'm a fan, right? But Cardoso, to me, I don't think it's going the way they thought it was going to go to this point. Cardoso, big as she is, we've seen her down in South Carolina. We've seen her a couple of moments where she, you know, she acts like she wants to get physical. But when I watch her last year and then, of course, this year, I don't see any growth or improvement in her game. And I don't want to speak ill of Cardoso because I root for her. But at times, for somebody that big, she kind of soft sometimes. At times. I don't think they bargained for. I think they was on. You know, they thought they was gonna get more than the 10 or 11 points a game out of her that they're getting now. And this is the killer. The killer thing is, you know how many rebounds she's averaged?
I mean,
I could take the 10 or 11 points if we was getting boards. And I know we want to talk about Angel Reese being on that squad.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Cardoso bigger than everybody. Cardoso averaging like 6 boards. That's it. And now this is my thing. I don't think it's all her fault the way people, because I'm not the person saying that. Again, I'm in the Chicago group hard. They hard, or they suffering right now. I don't say it that I'm not. that's not my squad. It is because I'm a WNBA fan, but it's not my squad. I feel for them. The expectations, all I heard going into this year when people were saying they didn't need Kennedy Carter, of course, or the area I can think was fine, they were fine because they were going to run a lot of their offense through Cardoso. And I think my biggest fears have come to light to this point. She's not the person you think she is that you can build a franchise on. She's not. She's not that person.
Do you think
you can get her some bucket getters and some other players around her, then of course she can be steady. If she wants to give you 10, 11 points a game or whatever, it's different. But they were talking about running offense through her. And that was one of the reasons they let Angel bring up the ball up the court a lot to unclog the middle a little bit and help her distribute. Because Angel is a very good passer. You understand that? It's not panning out to what I think they thought and definitely the fan base thought.
Okay, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. And I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But let me ask you this. Pick a big in the league. Pick a big. Not a 6'4", 6'3" big. Pick a big player in the WNBA. Name one.
A big player that's in the WNBA?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably the first person to come to mind, maybe because she ain't playing right now, but I don't know. I would say maybe Cheyenne, Parker Tice.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay. She's a little more athletic than I think most bigs that are her size.
She is.
Okay, pick somebody else. I want
to go Dolson. I mean, I don't know Dolson. I mean, I don't.
Dolson plays a totally different game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I thought about I'm blanking on her first name. Brown, PJ Brown daughter.
Oh, you talking about Kalani?
Kalani Brown.
Yeah.
Tierra McGowan.
Yeah.
Have any of these players panned out to be what you think that their organizations thought they were going to be when they first came into the league?
Me personally, I think that the expectation for Cardoso was different. I get where you're going.
Tierra McGowan?
I do. Because
I thought the whole team was going to change when she got there.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just going by what there was a hype behind what McGowan was going to do, and then there was this side of what this WNBA heads, I should say, what scouts thought was going to try. I saw it totally different from what the hype was and from what the people saying they were going to be. In Cardoso's case, I saw more positive about her taking over the league from both sides than I did with McCowan. So I saw these WNBA writers and so-called all these people were saying they thought that Cardoso was going to come in here and really be something. From what I remember when McGowan came out, I don't remember seeing that hype on both sides. I remember seeing it from the fan perspective. I didn't see that from the WNBA writers.
I thinking Cardoso was going to come in and take over. It seems like crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
It was no harder than trust me.
that seems crazy, especially for somebody who hasn't played basketball as long as most of the players that they're playing against. And I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but I'm just like, what if they're unsteady from coaching to point guard to being a terrible team all the way around, generally speaking, a terrible team last year and into this year, then what's she supposed to do? I get it. Maybe she can do more than what she's done, but I'm like, dog, that ain't. Put some pieces around and then them not stink. And then if she's still not playing as well as some people would want her to, then I'm like, all right, let's talk about it. 6 points don't seem that terrible to me when your teammate's getting 12.
She had a good game the other day. She had a good game the other day. I'm not saying she's not capable, but to me, it's just that in the combination. They were talking about how well she did in the offseason, wherever she was. I haven't seen, to me, she looks like the exact same player as last year. Meaning, I don't see, at least with Angel, and there's two different players, two different positions. as much as Angel has struggled around the back, I can see in certain instances where there's been some work over the offseason. Not saying that Cardoso hasn't worked or attempted, but she looks exactly the same to me. And I'm telling you this, in next game, she's going to go bust 24-12. This is what I'm saying. The hype and expectation from Chicago, they are really looking at Cardoso as that girl, period. And when they got rid of Kennedy Carter, just run the offense through her and Angel. Running this through us. First of all, running the offense through Angel is crazy enough, right? But they were really thinking that Cardoso, I'm telling you, was going to be that girl. Like we're going to be talking about Cardoso as one of the top 7 or 8 players in the league. That's and I've seen just about every Chicago Sky game this year, and it ain't even remotely close. Not down in her. I'm rooting for her to become that girl, but she has points. She's just not. There's points where she's not aggressive. Down in the bottom, the footwork. It doesn't look like there's been a big change in her footwork. It just looks like the same player to me. That's all I'm saying. And I'd say that if they was a good team, I know more than anybody that I expected to struggle.
Because they stink. Angel looks different, but not better offensively. Yeah. I mean, she just don't. I mean, she's
doing Angel's got us a double shot because she's not only trying to get better in certain areas, but now Coach Marsh has got her doing different things too, bringing the ball up the court, playing more. You see Angel. I'm trying to figure out how she's still getting these double-digit rebounds, other than the fact that she's good, because I see her a whole lot. She out there on the wing. Yeah. So she's expanded her game to the point to maybe what she used to do, I guess. Whereas I'm not always just sitting around the basket waiting for the board. I'm seeing her come crashing from the wing and get a board. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. So maybe things will look up for Cardoso, but to me, Cardoso to me looks like the exact same player. And you're going to say, well, how's that a bad thing? They won a championship. But individually, she kind of looks similar to the way she just did in South Carolina. Like there's some things there that's going to have to definitely get better. And he said with every player, before we can really start talking about her is for me to justify the pick the way she got picked. And that's just me. And I say that loving as a fan.
Yeah. Well, she ain't Liz Cambage, so nobody's expecting that. but if they are expecting that, that's their own stupidity. That's crazy.
Last thing. Well, we talked about them. Atlanta Dream, man, 5-2. 5-2, playing very, very well. I was interested to see after a few games how Griner was going to fit in there. Her and Brianna Jones been playing just fine for what they need. Now with Ryan Howard and, of course, Alicia Gray out there busting them down with 21 a game. So, yeah, I enjoy watching them play, man.
And that's without Jordan Kansas being out there.
Yes.
Yeah, Pow out there. Yeah.
Powell just came back from injury, I believe. Got nicked up.
Caldwell. You had a bunch of people out there running point or, distributing the ball, whatever the case may be, being that fifth option, that fifth person. But still, Gray and Howard just out here eating. They out here, they on some Brown Tatum type approach.
Think about how close they would have been, 6-1, because they was giving Indiana that work, boy. I'm trying to tell you, they was giving Indiana work.
When I was locking
man, she put the clamps on CC, bro. She did. And got a little testy out there too, so I can't, wanted to play again. But Ryan, they was and talking. That was the crazy part about it. People talked about what happened and they didn't really watch the whole game. Man, they was talking the whole game. When first period, they out there talking to each other. I'm like, yeah, something gonna happen.
Ryan don't care. Yeah, I like it. But I like Indiana. I like Atlanta the way they are playing. Like I said, they're 5-2 right now. They're second in the East. Well, second, third. But yeah, they tough. They tough, and I hope they keep it up.
Yeah, you think about this, though. Like in a world where you got Alicia giving you 21 and Ryan giving you 17, if you just go down low between Griner and Jones, they giving you 25 points between them.
Yeah,
Per game. So it's like,
a lot of points.
That's a lot of points, man. And I do love what I love certain matchups when coach actually, because there'll be spurts where it'll just be one or the other, but there's time periods when they're both out there, and they ain't giving up nothing, bro. They ain't giving up nothing out there, man. I was glad Brianna was able to shine because I was kind of worried about her after the last injury she had back in the last stop. How much would it affect her career, but she's going strong.
Yeah, can't knock the hustle. Yeah, they tough.
No doubt. Cameron Brink says that instead of us continue to add a bunch of new teams, she would like to see the rosters expanded.
Yeah. Spoken like someone who is not on the business side.
Right.
Because adding more players is not creating more revenue. It's creating more output, not input, not income. More teams, more revenue, more players on teams that already exist. You're not getting anything else. So, but I get it. I get the idea. I don't necessarily love it because why? But I don't know what. If the pool is less, and I hate to compare NBA and WNBA, but they're both basketball leagues. They're both the highest professional basketball league in the United States. So if it's 12-ish, 12-ish players on a roster, and there's way more players over here in the NBA, like
right.
in the world of basketball, men, and they've got double, almost triple the team. Not about 2.5 times the amount of teams that the other league has. Adding players is not gonna do it. Either way, it goes back to the money, and adding players is not gonna help the money, because that's what people are gonna argue. Even the leagues will argue, even as they don't make as much money as whatever, or make enough money, whatever the case may be. As far as the league, more teams means more people in different places being able to access the league.
Right.
So adding more players are not helping anybody other than the player that's getting the salary, and that's not going to make a difference to the bottom line.
I agree. It's like somebody just want to see more people actually out here on a WNBA roster.
We've seen it especially over the last couple of years, where you see players and you're like, they got cut. How they get cut? My youngest daughter saw Haley Jones. She's like, how Haley Jones ain't on the team anymore? Yeah, well, it is what it is, because they ain't but 156 spots for all these great players. They ain't but 156 spots. So where they gonna go?
That is crazy. So especially Haley Jones, because the type of player that she is, especially since she got in the league, she wasn't nobody's gonna come out here and give you, 22 every night.
Right.
But when you're talking about what she could do on the court, I mean, she could have a good shooting night, but if she wasn't playing good, she can be trusted to get the ball, to play about 3 different positions at least. She could play 3 positions if she needed to. Somebody who great defensive effort, high basketball IQ.
Yeah.
And, here we are, she gets cut and you're not hearing anything. You know what I'm saying? To this point, like, I don't think even then she would think about, well, darn, I'm just sitting, I'm sitting right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
But then you look at, but even just with her and it being Atlanta, you look at Atlanta, you're like, well, how would she be on the team?
Oh, yeah.
Who you going to replace? Because you got your point guards that do what they do. You got your wings are locked. You got your off the bench scoring, whether it's consistent or not, whether Shatori gets consistent minutes or not. You got all that's her thing, scoring. So point guards, you got scoring. It's not like Haley Jones is gonna come out and get you straight buckets.
Right.
So who is she gonna replace? She ain't gonna replace nobody on that squad. So somebody had to go. She just happened to be the odd woman out.
Yeah, and with me, it's not even just so much the fact of Atlanta. It's just the fact that she just ain't on anybody's squad.
Right.
Like you just wait. You was waiting. Oh, Haley Jones, she's quality vet. She can do so much. That's the shame she got cut. Yep, somebody gonna call her next week though. Somebody got something going on down in LA or somewhere. Seattle and
that's what happened with Monique Billings season 4, or was it last season? And she was out. I'm like, how is she not on a squad? Like she gets buckets and boards every time she's on the court. So how is she not on the team? And she was on the sideline. Then she, got scooped up and she.
You talking about a funny. Dog, you talk about a funny thing. I guess it happens. It can happen anywhere. We've seen things happen in the NFL and even the NBA, but with the WNBA, with the limited amount of teams and players, like a player like Sid Colson, right? She got hurt the other day. Sid Colson is on a championship squad, not playing a whole lot. Like she didn't, not playing a whole lot. Right. They would kind of put her in if there was an injury or depending on where they were at their bad minutes, but just spark plug, highlighted, good player to have around the team, right? Mm-hmm. She comes out and goes to Indiana and get a lot of playing time. Matter of fact, started the other night, right? So whole lot of playing time after all these years. And then you got players that just are in and out of the league, but they stay in the league. I mean, one year they out and they got to break for somebody to bring them in. Then next year they just make the roster off top and can get you buckets like Odyssey Sim. Like it's so crazy. It's just so crazy. Last year this time I was waiting to get a call and I was waiting to get all these 10-day these hardship contracts. When the season started this year, I'm on the roster. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is, and it's I would chalk it up to needing specific things at a specific time, like Sydney Colson being on the Aces, because to me is because one, she's been there for a long time. She's part of the glue of that team as far as the organization and that locker room at first. But also, when she goes on the court, she knows what she needs to do. She knows the job. You know what you're going to get. So there's no negative to having her on the squad. Her going to Indiana is to, one, share that knowledge with CC, regardless of how great people think Caitlin Clark is. She can still learn, especially from a veteran who's been in championship situations, on championship teams, and played an integral part on some of those teams. And she's the backup to you. Like having Sydney there is different than having Erica Willer there. That's a different approach, and knowing that CC with the additions may need to lean more into that point guard side than just getting bucket side. That's another reason why Sydney Colson makes more sense than Erica Wheeler.
Indeed. Look at the slate today. Very interesting.
It's Commissioner Cup time, right now?
Commissioner Cup time. So we have what we got today. You got the Sun taking on Liberty. You got the Mercury taking on the Sparks at 6. Interesting one at 6 o'clock for sure. I definitely have my league pass up for this. You have the Aces taking on the Storm. I like that. I like that the Aces and Storm won't go at it. And then also you have the 8:30 where you have, of course, the Lynx taking on the Valkyries. So, and the Valkyries actually got 2 wins. So I mean, 2-2.
Got 2 wins. Crazy. They out here both.
Yeah. So, and then of course Tuesday, as we mentioned, well, CC will miss this, but yeah, you have that Washington, Indiana matchup again. So.
Yeah.
That's on Tuesday. So very interesting. So definitely some games to tune in to. Want to get your quick perspective on this, man, before we get to this music. Since you are way more of a flag football guy than I am.
Oh, right? Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not the flag football guy. I watch it, but, that's not my thing. But did you see the reports? Of course, we got the 2028 Olympics coming up. Here in a few years. I think it's supposed to be in Los Angeles this year. But it came out that they're going to allow NFL players to participate in flag football.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
I mean, it's cool. It's cool. It's football. The same way any other professional athlete can go to the Olympics.
I don't think the owners want this to happen.
Huh?
I don't think most of the owners want this to happen.
Oh yeah. They don't want their players doing anything extra. That's why you see so many things in contracts for players and not being able to do certain things in the off season and all that. So this would be one of those things. I ever tell you about the time Cam Newton was playing flag?
I don't think so.
Cam Newton was playing flag. I'm talking about physical flag. He was playing receiver, dog. Imagine Cam Newton being lined up against you and you playing DB, and Cam Newton is the receiver coming across the middle.
Woo.
Yeah, but this was during the same way with Russell. I told you Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Before he got drafted, after his last game at Wisconsin, the bowl game in Wisconsin, and before the draft, he was playing flag in the league with us. He was like, "Why are you out here?" Same thing with Greg Dortch. He was still in college, but
Yep.
he was out there during the summer, spring, I should say, in the spring, going into the summer, after his maybe sophomore season at Wake Forest. And we was like, "Go home, Roger. Go home, Roger. It's just not worth it, though." Yeah. So I get it. I get not wanting players to be out there as owners. I get that. I don't even think that's your real question. Your real question is about the NFL players versus flag players.
Well, yeah. So that's a discussion as well, because as you mentioned, I thought about this as you mentioned Cam Newton playing, right? So what players would be interested in what players that you think would be good players? Because there's definitely opposition from the professional flag football people anyway. What's the kid? Is it? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Daryl Doucette,
Yeah.
the quarterback for the US team.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, one, he don't like it. It doesn't need to happen. And two, he also says that flag football players for that particular medium is definitely going to be better at it than NFL players are going to be.
Yeah, it's a different world, which we saw a couple of years ago when our 804 people were out there playing in the, I think, quarterfinals, semifinals, when they first had the NFL, the flag football championships on ESPN or NFL Network or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of the people in the SBP, there are at least, 1, 2, 3, it's probably a good 4 people in the SBP that were on ESPN, on NFL Network, playing in those games, even played against that team that you're talking about, the QB that you're talking about, because they were the ones that won the championship. And they beat the NFL team that had, Michael Vick as the quarterback or somebody like that.
Right.
Because it's a slightly different game. It's still football, but it's a little, there's the nuances and the differences in the game. Dang. What was your question? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just thinking too, like, because you mentioned Cam Newton, I was thinking, like, what type of player? So, because in your mind, the first thing you're thinking about is getting, who your quarterback gonna be. Especially, I know it's a plus of somebody that's definitely somebody that's mobile. Because I know that kid had said something about he knows 100% that he's better than Patrick Mahomes in the flag world. Is what he's saying. He's saying that. And then you start thinking about, so what other players, like when we're talking about speed and all that, would it be a Tyreek Hill or somebody or something? For me, it's more intriguing when you were talking about the size of Cam Newton. I was thinking about even a player like Michael Parsons. And the reason I said, you're talking about a guy that's 245 pounds, a former running back. People don't know that. He was everything running back.
Right.
Well, but he's got speed. Like at 245 pounds, him lining up against somebody like, is that, what type of player you think would be a good flag player at that level?
I just mentioned Greg Dortch. He would be good in this because it's as much about being agile and side to side as it is just being fast. Because being fast is one thing, but anybody can be fast. Like you can play off of fast. They still got to get the ball, and then they're going to still have to get away from you. A lot of fast people that didn't, or when people are getting used to playing flag, they think because they can play football, they're gonna be great in flag. You got to have some wiggle. You got to be uh, you got to have some wiggle. That's a big part of it there. You got to have some wiggle. You got to be able to get away, create space. On the defensive end, you don't necessarily have to be a defensive player. You could be a wide receiver playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is, it's not about being physical necessarily in the way the style that they're playing there or for the Olympics. It's about being able to break down and pull flags. And just because you can tackle don't mean you can pull flags. If you watch when the games I was talking about from a couple years ago with the NFL,
Right.
you see people can't pull flags. And if you watch the Pro Bowl and all that, you see players can't necessarily pull flags because it's not natural. If you're just which is what every flag football player that just played tackle football, as soon as they play and they miss a flag, or if we were playing tackle, if we were, we wouldn't be missing flags. That it has nothing to do with anything. It's just an excuse. And you need people that actually know that you got to be able to pull flags in order to play well. Because flag football players, especially at that level, they're not gonna miss flags. You're not gonna just make one move and they're gonna totally miss you. If they get a chance to touch your body, they probably gonna pull your flag.
Right. Yeah, they. I think Jason Kelsey was talking about it. And I don't remember who made this statement, but they were talking about deciding on which players could represent the USA instead. Would it be just you go out there individually and compete and vie for a spot, or how you would do it? But somebody made the comment was like, why don't we have their squad against an NFL squad in a matchup, let it go down? I think he said maybe was it the 4th of July, I believe, or something like that. And the winner of that squad gets to represent the United States.
but that goes back to them, the flag football players beating the NFL. It already happened. It's already happened. So if you look at that, I would say it needs to be a mesh team, the same way you pick any other team. You don't take a team from a league and take them to the Olympics. Like you don't take the 76ers and take them to the Olympics.
Right.
You take the best players.
Yep.
As long as they get time to mesh. I think the real thing is that this is football, so America doesn't want to look bad. So they're thinking, well, if we got the best football players, we're going to throw them out there. And it could go one or two ways. The NFL could just be so great at football that they kill everybody because it's the NFL. Or it could be that other people play flags and the nuances are missed. Then the NFL or the U.S. ends up being third and looking stupid. It could go either way. The same way if they use a straight flag team. It could be they're not quite NFL players, so they're not as great athletically, but they play flag. It could go either way. So that's why it's the meshing of the two is probably the best option. I got to imagine NFL players are going to give a random, not random, but a really good flag football player being the leader. They're going to take that some type of way. I feel like they'll take it some type of way. And, you know what I'm saying? They're like, how this dude, he play flag football. I play in the NFL. He going to tell me what to do. I could see that being an issue. I could see that.
Yeah, they I haven't done a super deep dive into it, but I was seeing something where they said that if that were to occur, I think that you can only have one player from a particular team. Like if I looked at it right, if I understood it right, so it couldn't be, two players from the Cincinnati Bengals. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
From an exact NFL franchise, but I have to read more into it. So last thing, so who would you, out of the NFL players today, who would you think would be the ideal quarterback, though? You think game may translate well?
Lamar.
Lamar?
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's easy. I wasn't even thinking about Lamar. He just popped in my brain last second.
You know, I was thinking about, and I don't know how you feel about it, where he would fit in as far as the quarterbacks in the NFL. What would you think maybe a Kyler Murray would fit?
I was thinking Tua, actually.
Tua
is the first person that popped in my brain.
Gotcha.
Just because I feel like he'd be wiggly. But Kyler Murray is probably a great choice. Kyler Murray's probably a great choice because he got a strong arm. He's elusive. Yeah, and you got to be elusive because them dudes are rushing at you with no blocking. Mm-hmm. So if they blitz, they're at you with no blocking, but you got to make a snap decision. And the key is, a lot of the key, especially at the quarterback, is that you got a time limit. Like I don't know if it's 4 seconds, whatever the seconds is. You got a certain amount of seconds where the ball has to be out of your hand. So you got to be able to make that decision. But yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray is better than Tua, generally speaking, and I would guess, generally speaking, Kyler Murray is better than Tua, and he would be better at flag. I think he would be better at flag. But Lamar Jackson is probably the best.
And of course, he wouldn't be the only short guy because I'm sure these professional flag players, so they play against people of all sizes anyway. Yeah. But I would wonder, would it be even the smallest advantage of the fact that you think you got to reach down a little bit lower to grab his flag while he's moving?
Flag players rushers ain't gonna be that tall, probably.
Got you.
They're gonna be, and they're gonna break down anyway. Yeah, it does help when you're super short,
right?
But I don't think Kyler Murray is quite short enough, like against everybody else, to make that big a difference.
Got you
in that situation.
All right. That's it. You got anything else sports-wise so we get to this music?
Nah, man, that's it. We own it.
All right, my man. Good stuff, man. That was just good stuff right there. So last thing for the day, as we usually do about this time, we're going to get to some music, man. As you mentioned, and it kind of flew over my head. I would eventually call it, but usually you're on top of things way faster than I am. It is today is it Black Music Month?
Black Music Month, yeah.
Black Music Month. So what we doing today, man? You go ahead. What we doing today?
So what we're gonna do, nothing too crazy. I hope I remembered it the way I explained it. We're both gonna talk about briefly mention a particular artist and name our favorite album from that artist, whether it's an artist that was in a group or solo or both, but whatever album that particular artist has that is our favorite, we're going mention that one.
All right, that's cool. So I think you got with me this morning, so I think we're gonna be on the same page anyway, as far as it's gonna be the same. Yep. So sweet. So who we got today?
So today's artist, as I fight these bugs out here, it's like the third bugs. Man, that's one thing about outside, boy. Them bugs gonna pull up. Anyway, the artist of the day is Lawrence Christopher Parker, KRS-One. So KRS-One has a good 25 to 30 albums in reality between Boogie Down Productions and solo work, joined with Buckshot, and he's got a lot going on when it comes to studio projects. So Prime, what is your favorite album from KRS-One, whether it's group or solo?
Oh, pretty easy, man. Pretty easy. Yeah, you probably figured. To me, it's the very first Boogie Down Productions album. It's Criminal Minded. And it's very easy. Could have been a couple of other albums, but it's Criminal Minded. Just for me, one, the showcase of him lyrically, especially for that time period when we talking around 86, 85, 86, right in there. Back when I was heavily into lyrics, which I still am. Right. But it's just kind of a lost art. But for that time period, KRS-One came out, him and Scott LaRock, and he showcased some lyricism, some slick lines on the album without being overly complicated. One of my favorite songs, of course, as I tell you all the time, is Poetry.
Yo.
And, my favorite line, what's the problem? It seems you want to be KRS-2, from my point of view, backtrack to the attack, because KRS-1 means only one KRS. That's it. That's our solo single, no more, no less. And, I will never forget it, because the first time I heard that, you ever been in the middle of listening to something while you're doing something else?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I remember the first time when I first bought the album, let's start there. We were buying records, we were buying wax, right?
Yep.
And I bought that record, honestly, to tell you the honest truth, because I knew the name, because I had a 12-inch I had gotten. I forgot where I got the 12-inch from. And the 12-inch had the P is Free on it, remix. But there was no picture, it was just a 12-inch. You know what I'm saying? Is black album cover, and it was really, and that was it. So I knew, I said, I got this. Okay, that's cool. This these Boogie Down Productions, all right. But when the album actually came out, I walked up to the album because I saw the album cover. Okay. And the album cover immediately. I mean, we were young back then, so I'm seeing these dudes and looking hard, him and Scotland Rock and holding guns, and I don't have a singular picture of that, but that first up in, which would be my left hand corner, the jackets were crazy, and I'm seeing the jackets and all that. Me and my cousin had similar coats. Everything was crazy, but I bought it for the album cover, and also the fact that I knew I had a 12-inch from Boogie Down Productions. Little did I know, when I would go home and put that record on, letting it play, because I wanted to record it to a cassette tape. Mm-hmm. So I had something to play in the car later on that evening when we went out, because I bought it early, on a Saturday morning. And I was in the middle of doing something else while the cassette was recording the first side of the album. And he hits that line that I just, that verse that I just stated, KRS-One means only one KRS. That's it. That's our solo single, no more, no less. I stopped what I was doing and turned. I said, "What in the world did he just say? That's crazy." I caught the meaning immediately, and I'm like, "Oh!" And I really wanted to stop it right then, and I almost did, but I remember I was recording, so I had to wait. But I was at a point I couldn't wait for at least the first side of the album to get recorded, just so I could go back to that, lift the needle and go back to that song. Yeah. And immediately that just set it off for me. And as I went through the rest of the album, man, of course, Criminal Minded itself, Superho, man, I was bumping Superho at work the other morning. It got me hyped, like first thing in the morning. Like, the album to me was just so well put together. Elementary, to this day, one of my favorite. KRS-One songs, Boogie Down Productions. It's just everything about that album. So this album just holds a lot of sentimental value to me. It's only 2 albums ever that I can honestly say immediately, when you tell me why you bought it initially, because of the album cover. Mm-hmm. This is one of them, and the other one, of course, is Yo Bum Rush the Show. As far as album covers, I bought them really because of the album cover. And then not realizing when I opened it up, it was going to be like, when I played, I'm like, dang, come on. So he does some other great stuff in his career, of course. It's stuff that I love, but this is my absolute, Criminal Minded is my absolute favorite album, KRS-One.
That's dope. And I will mention my favorite song from that album. It's arguable, but I gotta go with The Bridge Is Over.
Oh yes,
kind of gotta go with The Bridge Is Over. I'd love to say 9mm Goes Bang. The whole album is fire though, and that's from start to finish. Interesting. I asked the question on, I guess it was on TikTok originally, and then I put it on Instagram. I just said no skip albums. Drop. I only mentioned no skip albums, which is going kind of crazy. It's going crazy like like them other joints last year did. Suddenly, I don't know what happened, but the joint going crazy. Like I saw KD, not KD, I saw KG back in the joint. He was in the joint last year, so I saw him in the comments a little earlier today. Dante Ross, RBX was in there. I actually made a video back to RBX. RBX been in the comments like 5 times. He going back and forth with people.
Execution style murders.
Yes, sir. It's very interesting. Amir Abdullah was in the comments this morning.
Okay.
I was like, oh, we doing NFL now? Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. That joint's going crazy. But anyway, yeah, I got to go with The Bridge Is Over as my favorite song off of that album. Now, for me, here's the problem, Prime. I know it's the same album, but Close is By All Means Necessary. And it's odd because KRS-One has been around. Let's see, Criminal Minded dropped in 87. That's 38 years ago, bro. That's 38 years. That's crazy. Criminal Minded dropped 38 years ago, and it is still your favorite album by KRS-One. Even if I don't count that one, the next year, 1988,
right,
By All Means Necessary dropped, and that is, for us to have different answers, that is my choice for my favorite by KRS-One. That's 37 years ago. Crazy. You got Nas, you think back, you don't have to think back, a couple years ago, Nas dropped Pistols on My Album Cover, which was basically a dedication to Boogie Down Productions, because look at the pictures. So shout out to Nas for that. But Criminal Minded is super fire. I'm gonna go with, like I said, so we had different answers. I go with By All Means Necessary. But for us to have 38, then 37 years of KRS music, and then those to still be the top joints, that's crazy. Especially when he's had so many great albums. He's had 7 to 10, 7 to 10 great albums. But I picked By All Means Necessary, the song that made me fall in love with hip hop, literally like fall in love with hip hop, was from that album. It's My Philosophy.
Yeah.
That's my joint. That's my joint. That will always be my joint. Or, one of them. We have songs that are those songs. That's always going to be one of my joints off that album. Teacher, go music, come to the teacher. It goes back to the conversation I was saying about the videos, the video that I made for TikTok and IG. Both of these albums are that. They are no skip albums. Like that, to me.
Sure.
I don't know what song you skipping. You just letting that joint rock. You letting both of them joints rock from start to finish. It's great music. It's great commentary. It's different approaches, but you still got that the album covers being menacing to some people. Menacing album covers, and I appreciate that from Boogie Down Productions. Rest in peace, Scott Rock. Rest in peace, Miss Melody as well. But yeah, that's it. That's all. That is the album I'm going with. By All Means Necessary.
Man, that joint's so fire. I remember having this conversation with someone before, and they asked me, it was like, you always talk about buying stuff for album cover. You like, Gus, you didn't buy My Philosophy for the same reason? No, because I was already hooked. Like, I was going, Criminal Minded, when I became hooked on Criminal Minded, and I don't think it had been out more than a week, if a week when it came out. Back then, see, people don't remember, back then records used to come out on Thursdays. I remember. This is how, you probably can Google it, I guarantee.
Going backwards, Thursday, I think it was Friday at one time, but then Tuesday.
They jumped back. So back right in that time period, Thursday, Friday, whatever it was. But I was always at the record store on Saturday. And I told, shout out to LL for the Bad album, which is talking about. But I talk about, I remember that being a Thursday when I bought his, because his came on a Thursday. I remember that it's like it was yesterday, because I told you I begged my grandmother to please take me to the store that Thursday. I hadn't had my car yet. So, and she always went to the mall on Saturday. She was a shopper.
Right.
So I went with her most mornings, unless I had like a little league football game or something. We didn't go and we'd wait. But as a younger person, but I was in high school when Elle came out, and Elle, I remember begging her to take me. So that's same thing with this. I didn't beg her to take me to go get that album. I ended up getting it because, riding with my cousin when we scooped it up. But my philosophy, I was already into KRS-One. They was my peoples. So I was just waiting for the next album. I don't care if it was a plain album cover. I was going to get this.
Yeah.
But of course, the album cover itself was symbolic when you think about Malcolm X. I even got I thought about trying to find it, and I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Just give everybody a quick laugh. But I got an old high school photo of me in my room down in Chester. I tried to duplicate this photo.
Oh, yeah?
It was me, holding a plastic Uzi. So when I say plastic, it wasn't real. It was like back when it was a squirt gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the ones that it made a little sound like and it shoots. Well, I had one, and I tried to duplicate this photo. So I got it around here somewhere. Me looking out the window of my bedroom and all that. But and you're right. You're talking about Definite Fire. The one song that you mentioned, which I know you love because it is no skip. But I'm still number one. People still taking rapping for a joke. That's I think I play that now just as much as anything. Put it this way, when I make my mixed 80s hip hops, just put them on shelf. I don't think I've made one that doesn't have I'm still number one on it.
That's tough.
Dun, 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 dun. And to think of an artist like KRS-One, that all the positiveness and the the Black awareness and the ode to true MCing, it's funny to see. He's human just like us, because you'd never think hearing some of his songs that they would ever do a song like on Criminal Man, like Superho, right?
Right.
You get to this album here, he got a song called Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, KRS-One speaking of consciousness, but I mean, he does speak some good stuff on that too, but it's just the fact that, how catchy it is, what he's describing, what he's talking about it, all these diseases. Jimmy is Jimmy no matter what. Yeah, so definitely if I am. So if it wouldn't have been Criminal Minds for me, it definitely would have been my philosophy. So it's definitely those first two.
Word.
Slipping. So shout out to the man himself, KRS-One.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Great choice, man. Great choice on that one. So when you said it, I said I'm just gonna stay with that one.
Yeah.
That one. It's too easy.
We're gonna do one of these per week for the next few shows.
Yep.
And, because it's Black Music Month. It's also Men's Mental Health Month, I believe. So
word up.
Definitely got to lock in on that as well. Word
up. So y'all go play y'all some KRS-One today. Put that joint on shuffle. Nice outside. At least in the 804. Go watch your car. Go take a ride.
Yeah.
Do something. If you don't have a KRS-One playlist in your Apple Music or whatever you use, go make one real quick and just put it on shuffle. Take your favorites from even the albums we didn't even name. You know what I'm saying? All your favorites. Put them on one playlist, label it KRS-One faves. That's all my stuff is lined up. I got whoever faves. And I just hit the shuffle and I can get to doing what I'm doing. So that's how you can easily find it. What else you got for the people today, man? Anything?
Oh, like I mentioned at the beginning, got the event this Friday. We're outside at the Laurel Barbershop on the deck. It's called Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. Who's the best rapper? Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. So it'll be all Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas music. Reggie, the owner of Laurel Barbershop, his wife has a food truck, so she'll be out there with some fried fish and fries or some burgers and fries, something going on out there. A little something. You can grab you a little something to eat. You can tip the DJ if you feel the vibes. But either way, pull up, come out. I want to be able to video this, have a couple people in the mix, have a good time. And I want to make this an event. So summer series from now until I'm gonna say Labor Day. That's fair. From now until about Labor Day, and do this at least 3 to 5 times. If it becomes, something where people want more, then we do as many as we can. But at least 3 to 5 times over the summer.
No doubt. Y'all hear my man's right there. Y'all check it out. Hey, last thing I'm going to ask you before we slide out, I meant to ask you this earlier. Were you ever a fan of the show King of the Hill?
Nope.
Never a fan. Okay. I was asking because they're been popping up for the past year or so, and now it's official, I think, less than a month away, or is it this month? I don't know. But there's the King of the Hill revival.
Oh, yeah.
All the years, and they've been putting out little trailers and things in your first look, and it looks like it's not. Some time has passed, so while a lot of the main characters look the same, they tried to make them a tad bit older, maybe face a little more full or whatever. They kind of look the same, other than the kid, the son Bobby.
Did they let him grow up?
He's grown up, so they say he's 21 now. And They describe it as if, I think he's a chef now. He got into the restaurant business.
Okay.
I guess his daddy no longer selling propane and propane accessories. And so I just thought that was interesting that they decided to come back. And when they came back, it wasn't just the same old deal. We're just going to pick up and everybody said going to be the same age for all these years. And it looks like they didn't. Time is progressed. So very interesting. We'll see how that goes. We watch it here, so we'll see. All right. But that's it, folks. That's what we got for you. Thanks for checking us out. I hope you found something meaningful, whether it made you mad or not. I don't care. We had to speak some truth on here. And we'll see. We'll be back soon enough. Talk some basketball, Black Music Month, whatever else is popping off. So you'll see us. But till next time, I'm your boy Prime, that Source. We out of here. Peace.
Cheers.